Quick question. In a town where every single character has spent years trying to get out, why does the show's most dangerous woman never once try to run? Boyd tries to run. Jim tried to run. Half the cast has stood at the tree line at some point and stared at it like the woods owe them an exit. Tabitha Matthews has never done that. Not once in 4 seasons. And once you notice that, the entire show starts to look different because the thing she's actually been doing since episode 1 is an escape. It's excavation. She digs. She always digs. And by the time you understand why, you'll understand why the villain of this show is the only person who's honest with her, that hears the theory this video is built around. Tabitha Matthews isn't the character trying to leave the town. She's the character trying to remember what the town did. Every major turn of her arc, the tunnels in Season 1, the bond with Victor in Season 2, the file on a dead woman in Season 3, the reincarnation reveal in Season 4, is the same instinct wearing a different disguise. She's not looking for a door. She's looking for a memory. And the show's antagonist knows this about her before she does, which is exactly why he lets her live. Start at the beginning. When the Matthews family rolls into town, Tabitha isn't a woman with something to protect. She's already lost her middle child before the show even starts, and her marriage was on its way to a divorce lawyer, not a campsite. She arrives hollowed out, which matters, because most people in this town get broken by the place itself. Tabitha walks in pre-broken. The town doesn't have to make a crack in her. One's already there. And what she does with that crack is the strangest choice in the pilot. Everyone else's instinct is outward, toward the road, the radio, the tree line. Tabitha's instinct is downward. She's inside the house for minutes before she's staring at the floor like it owes her an answer, and she picks up a shovel with no map, no clue, and no one telling her to. She just knows the answer is underneath her. And she's right. What she finds isn't a tunnel. It's a whole buried structure, carved walls, symbols, and scattered through it, children's belongings. She stumbled onto a crime scene in Season 1 and didn't know it yet. Then the dead children start appearing to her specifically, and they only ever say one word. For 2 seasons that word sounds like nonsense. We eventually learn it translates to remember. So from her very first vision, this town's dead kids have been giving Tabitha Matthews one instruction. Not help us. Not save us. Remember. She was already on the job before she knew the job existed. Season 2 is where this stops being a coincidence because of Victor. Victor is the show's most guarded character. He's survived decades in this town by trusting nobody, and it's kept him alive while everyone from his era died around him. Then Tabitha shows up, and within a season, the one man built entirely out of suspicion starts opening up to her specifically. He seeks her out. He calms down around her. At the time, it plays like 2 lonely people finding comfort in each other. It's actually something colder and sadder than that. Victor is recognizing his mother. Neither of them knows it yet, but his instincts about this town have been correct for 40 years. They were correct here too. Then there's the lighthouse. Tabitha climbs it, meets a strange boy in white who never explains himself. And he does something nobody in this show has done before him. He pushes her out a window, and she wakes up outside the town. First crack in the idea that there's no way out, and it happens to her specifically. At that point, it's less luck and more of a pattern. Season 3 flips the whole show, because Tabitha actually gets out, and instead of hiding from what happened to her, she goes looking for answers in the real world. She tracks down Victor's family and starts pulling on the thread of a woman named Miranda, who died decades earlier. And every fact she uncovers about Miranda is a description of herself. Visions, paintings of the same children, knowledge of the same lighthouse. A woman who tried to save everyone and failed. Tabitha is sitting in a house in Maine, reading a stranger's file, and the stranger is her. Then she goes back into the town anyway, which quietly wrecks the show's original premise. This was supposed to be a story about people trapped by tragedy who cannot leave. Tabitha leaves, and it changes nothing. Leaving was never the exit, and the season finale confirms why. Tabitha and Jade are reincarnations. She was Miranda. He was a man named Christopher, and this wasn't their first attempt. The lighthouse has dates carved into it going back to the year 1506, and they don't land on any kind of schedule. A cycle here doesn't end on a clock. It ends when everyone involved is dead. That's not a rematch. That's an unknown number of losses stacked behind her. And Tabitha has apparently played in every single one, which brings us to Season 4, where the show stops asking what the town is and starts asking what it's already done to her. Tabitha now knows she used to be married to Henry Cavanaugh. She knows she used to be Victor's mother. She's living down the street from both of them. And she says nothing because her own kids just learned their father is dead, and there is genuinely no good moment to tell an 80-year-old man that you used to be his wife. The scene that captures this best is small. Victor offers to build her son Ethan a set of dolls, gently, the way Victor does everything, so the boy will have something to hold on to if the worst happens. Tabitha shuts it down immediately. She tells her son nothing is going to happen to him, that she's not going anywhere. And Victor, without any cruelty in his voice, says that's exactly what his mother told him. And then she died. It's the entire show's argument delivered in one sentence by a man who doesn't even know he's the one confirming it. Tabitha has made this same promise before, in this same town, in a different life, and she watched it fail. She makes it again anyway, because for her the promise was never a strategy. It's just who she is. Then comes the RV scene, the one this whole video started with. The man in yellow has already killed her husband on that exact patch of ground, and he lets her live, then hands her the location of the children's bones, and immediately follows it with a warning that using them could either save the town or unleash something worse. He doesn't tell her which. That's not information. That's a coin flip he's making her carry home to a town full of desperate people. Now here's where I want to add something the recap circuit mostly glossed over, because Season 4's actual finale, the episode called If a Tree Falls in the Forest, did more damage than a bag of old bones. Once the bottle tree comes up, the sky goes dark in the middle of the day, an earthquake knocks a protective talisman loose at the clinic, and one of the creatures gets inside and kills Marielle in front of the woman she loves. Minutes later, Sophia, who is the man in yellow wearing a young woman's face, corners Elgin and offers him the exact same deal she once offered another character. Help her, and she'll send him home. He refuses and prays instead. She kills him for it. Two established characters, gone in the same night, and the showrunners have been upfront that this wasn't shock value for its own sake. It was there to prove that having someone genuinely dangerous inside this town has a body count. Fatima's fate is stranger. She keeps the creatures off the group by turning into something that looks like one of them, and survives it, which raises an uncomfortable question the show hasn't answered. What exactly is Fatima, and how long has she been more connected to this town's monsters than anyone realized? But the detail I think matters most is the final 60 seconds. Sophia runs into the boy in white in the woods, and for the first time the show confirms these two figures actually know each other. He tells her flatly that this time, she's going to lose. She isn't rattled by it. The showrunner has since confirmed publicly that this scene was designed to open what he called the endgame of the entire series, and the creator added that the point of the moment wasn't just a tease. It was proof that these two beings, who've spent 4 seasons operating at the edges of the story, are and have always been aware of each other. That reframes something. Up to this point, most theories, including the strongest one about why Tabitha keeps getting spared, have treated the man in yellow as a solo predator running his own private game with one favorite opponent. The finale suggests it's bigger than that. If the boy in white and the man in yellow have history, then whatever Tabitha is caught in might not be a one-on-one match at all. It might be one battlefield in a much longer war between two forces, and Tabitha, Miranda before her, and whoever came before Miranda, might just be the pieces that war keeps getting fought over. So let's talk about what happens next, because there's real news here, and not just speculation. Season 5 is confirmed, and it's confirmed as the final season. The renewal came from MGM Plus just days before Season 4 even premiered, and the show's creator has since said publicly that 5 seasons was always the intended shape of the story. He's also said the writers briefly discussed stretching it to 6, and decided against it, admitting that a 6th season at that point would exist mainly because the team wasn't ready to say goodbye, not because the story needed it. Production on the final season has already started. Filming began in Halifax roughly 2 weeks after the Season 4 finale aired at the end of June, which is an unusually fast turnaround for this show. Every previous gap between seasons has gotten longer, not shorter, stretching from about 14 months to 16 to 19. If the production team keeps this pace, Season 5 could realistically break that trend and arrive sooner than fans are used to waiting, with a lot of industry chatter currently pointing towards sometime in 2027. There's also a small but fun wrinkle for anyone who liked Elgin. The actor who played him has publicly noted that the show still has a full-body double built from an earlier season, and that from has brought characters back after death before, so nothing about his exit is being treated as permanently closed. Oh, where does that leave Tabitha? I'll lay out the strongest reading, and then tell you why I think the finale quietly shifted it. The clean version of the theory says the original version of this woman, whoever she was before Miranda, before whichever cycle came before that, was connected to the very first bargain this town made, the one that took a child and left it dead unpaid. That would explain why she keeps arriving with a son and a daughter. It would explain why both Victor and her son, Ethan, draw this much attention from forces in this town that don't waste attention on people who don't matter. The show has confirmed enough of this pattern that it's hard to write off as coincidence. But I don't think Tabitha keeps returning because a cosmic ledger needs balancing. And I don't think it's purely because the man in yellow enjoys the company either, although I understand why that theory is popular. I think the finale points somewhere colder. If the boy in white and the man in yellow have been circling each other since long before Tabitha existed, then she isn't the whole game. She's the current move in a much older one. Every cycle, one side seems to help her a little further than the last, and the other side keeps finding a new way to take it back at the worst possible moment. That's not a personal grudge against one grieving mother. That's too much older things using her as the board. And that's what makes the ending of Season 4 so uncomfortable to sit with. Tabitha has the bones now. She doesn't have the lock. She has a son this town won't stop watching, a daughter she can't fully protect, a dead husband buried on the exact spot where he died, and a past life she can access almost everywhere except the one moment that would actually help her. The moment Miranda died knowing something and never got to use it. Every version of this woman works out what she needs just after it stops being useful. That's not bad luck repeating itself. That's the design. If the final season keeps its current pace, we might not be waiting the usual year and a half to find out whether that changes. For now, all 4 seasons of this show are streaming, and the mythology only gets tighter the second time through, especially once you know what that one word from the dead children actually means from episode 1. If you want more breakdowns like this one before Season 5 drops, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which theory you're betting on, the debt that was never paid, or the war that's older than she is.